What's up, guys? Welcome to Only Film Fans, where two film buffs get into the thick of their favourite movies. 2024 Oscars is over, and it looks like Oppenheimer is basically just trashed every nomination. It's basically just picked up award after award. What do you think?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, personally, I don't know. Like, when I looked at the nominees for this year, I'll be deadly honest, I don't believe I went to the cinema last year. Like, there wasn't obviously when Oppenheimer and Barbie came out, I wanted to go see Oppenheimer, but it was like, I hate going to fully packed cinema, especially when it's like a drama and I want to hear all the words in that. I feel like I need to be in a home with my the comfort of my home, which is sad, but it's just a reality. When you go to cinema nowadays, everyone just goes to one movie pretty much.
I think me and you have had bad experiences with certain cinemas. We're not going to name names, but there's been a time in our friendship that we've gone to a cinema and realized, wow, the streaming has kind of destroyed the cinema experience in some ways, because now you get the cinema in the comfort of your own home.
The cinema needs a big step up to bring people in, that's for sure.
Oh, 100%.
But as Oppenheimer, I wasn't surprised by how many awards it really won. I mean, its competition this year was really... Obviously, you had some movies like Killers of the Flower Moon, and
that's one film
I heard good things about American Fiction.
Yeah, but that's one thing that's one film I thought that Martin Scorsese got completely trampled over. For me, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. I can't lie.
Well, this is the thing, like, of it's not necessarily just a hierarchy of like filmmakers, because Martin Scorsese is Martin Scorsese, but Christopher Nolan doing that. We have to face it. Like, when you heard Christopher Nolan was going to do that big explosion, everyone knew, okay, this is going to be the Oscar movie of the year.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, they put way too much money into it for it to not be. It's like, it's just a bit ridiculous.
But I did see the other day, I was looking at it, how much money went into the Killers of the Flower Moon. And look, you can't really go by box office because you can't get the number. In the past, you could, because you didn't have the streaming platforms. But now it's kind of up in the air a little bit about how much a film actually makes, right? But you look at Killers of the Flower Moon, I haven't got exact digits, but they put in 150 million and they just broke even in the box office. They still put a lot of money into Killers of the Flower Moon too, but I suppose, you know, you recreating a nuclear explosion, it's definitely gonna make waves instead of Killers of the Flower Moon. But it's just me as a personal fan, I was a little bit disappointed.
I'll be honest, like, when I saw the shot of the real explosion, I wasn't, no pun intended, blown away. But like, I was just thinking, Jesus, like, that's it. Like, I've seen, whether it's fake or not, like, you could miniaturize that and it wouldn't look really any bloody different to me. And I think to a lot of people, I think it was highly unnecessary.
Well, we all know that Christopher Nolan is guilty of using miniatures in his films. You know, like you look at the Batman tunnel scene. It's incredible.
But then he does the real shots as well, like the plane scene in Dark Knight Rises.
Of course, but so, we know we can expect it from him if he was going to do it. But I think that'd be very difficult to try and recreate on a miniature scale. You know,
I don't know. Right. So we've seen nuclear bombs go off in movies before.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, we all know what cloud it makes. Like, you don't personally. He just said, everyone's going to come to my movie to watch this one scene. For me, it was highly unnecessary for something that you don't need to do. I mean, like, you literally let off a huge ass bomb just for the sake of a movie.
Do you know what?
I think realistically is going to be forgotten in a few years.
I don't know. I think it's like, I think some of these filmmakers, like especially Christopher Nolan and Martin Scorsese, they're at the pinnacle of their careers. And some you could argue some of them are at the twilight of their career. I mean, look at Martin Scorsese. But I think almost you get to a point as a filmmaker that you just start setting records or doing things that it's sort of just outlandish, that you manage to garner this size of a budget that you go, you know what we're going to do? We're going to set off an explosion, the biggest any movie has ever seen. Why are you doing that? Because we can. And I think it gets to that point a lot of the time with filmmaking. So I agree with you. It's not going to be remembered. Like some of the films we've seen with like nuclear explosions, you don't really remember them as much as like you know what it looks like and you remember the footage in your head. You just don't remember what films they're from necessarily. So I agree with you. In a few years' time, it's going to probably fade into a little bit of a don't remember it.
And I don't know why. Like, I feel like if I was to have filmed that with all the cameras they had, I would have just kept that footage as raw as possible for the audience.
Instead of, yeah.
Just my opinion, because they for me it was like they done it for real, and then they kind of highly edited the footage. I might be wrong, but to me it looks highly edited, so I just didn't really get it.
I think when you're digitally, well, post production and work, I suppose, and visual effects and whatnot, I suppose you get as close as you can with raw footage, but then you polish it, and I imagine they've polished it to make it as close to perfection as possible. But sometimes in that realm of work, you can go too far, and they've probably just tilted it a little bit too much, gone a little bit too far from it being completely raw footage. But nonetheless, it's an incredible shot. But I don't think a nuclear explosion, in my opinion, should just automatically win you an Oscar. I don't think that's what filmmaking's about, in my opinion.
I mean, I've been looking through the list here. I'm like, has anyone won any other award other than Oppenheimer? There are some other little films that I honestly have not heard of, like Anatomy of a Fall, the one Best Original Screenplay, which is a really good award to win. And
yeah, 100%.
I don't know. Have you heard of that movie?
I haven't, but when I looked at the movie poster, I know this sounds crazy, yeah, but movie posters been a bit lackluster, and I know it's taking a little bit left of field. They've been a bit lackluster, and I saw that movie poster, and I was immediately more interested than any of the other nominees to watch that film. I just don't know what it was. It just appealed to me that looks pretty cool. So I have heard of it. I just don't know what it's about, but it's on top of my list of all of the films from the nominees that I'm probably going to watch, because you win the best screenplay. That counts for something.
Well, it says Best Original Screenplay. There's other categories like Best Adapted Screenplay, which I can only imagine is not your own story, and so but Best Original Screenplay is written by the creator of the movie, i.e. the director, or just the writer of the movie. And then I guess the Best Adapted, where you can see films like American Fiction, Oppenheimer, and Barbie. I guess they are adapted stories, so that makes sense.
Martin Scorsese's films, like Goodfellas.
Yeah. Well, then obviously that's not on this list, but yeah.
No, of course. I'm giving context, but yeah.
I see Godzilla -1 won Best Visual Effects.
Yeah,
so it's quite cool that a Japanese movie has actually come out and won a movie Oscar.
Yeah,
it's actually I don't know if that's been done before.
I have no idea if it's been done before, but I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was up there as well. So
oh yeah, so we don't know. That was poor. Yeah, that was poor effects. You know what? Like,
but to me,
Guardians of the Galaxy dupes you in personally, because we're talking about just the visual effects of Guardians of the Galaxy, because they show space stuff, and we're like, well, I don't know what the hell that looks like, so maybe it does look like that. And then they show some stuff, and you're like, what on earth? Like, what are you doing, guys? Like, who's getting paid to do this stuff?
Yeah, but that's the thing, is like, normally you would expect a certain standard from Marvel films, no matter what, even if you don't like the film, there's a certain standard for the visual effects, because they're just they're a massive studio. And for a film like Godzilla -1 to come along and actually beat a Marvel film to the nomination, to win the award for best visual effects, that's a big deal. That's a big deal, especially if it's not necessarily a traditional Hollywood movie, you know?
I see that Wes Anderson won Best Live Action Short Film for his film The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar.
Yeah,
so that's actually quite interesting. You'd never really think of big time directors doing short films again.
No, none at all, really. They usually do it at the beginning of their career, and it picks up ground later on.
Yeah, you've got to think. The funny thing is, it's like when you're like the grassroots stage of like what we're at the moment as well, like where we thinking of all these ideas, we're like, oh, we wish we had the budget. And then like these people get to that budget, and then they think of even bigger ideas where they need another budget, where maybe they should be thinking, why not go back to short movies and put my whole budget into this and do what they want.
And sometimes as well, with the emergence of like television series, is us getting used to the idea of watching one episode about like 45 minutes, an hour long. Sometimes that's all we need. Like sometimes that 45 minutes, hour long to conclude a series is a film in itself.
If you like literally watch one episode, like if you watch like one episode of Sopranos, you guaranteed want to watch the next episode. And if they said to you, oh yeah, no, you can't, you're gonna love that one episode so much because you're gonna treasure it, because you want more. It's just how people work.
Oh, 100%. And sometimes as well, when we look at films, no matter who you are, you have seen a film that you didn't like and you felt like you can tell me the whole film. Like there's so many films that are structured in the same similar format where I can tell you the whole film and I don't need to watch it again. There's that feeling like I don't want to watch this today because I already know it. It's not enough time has passed for me to kind of pick it back up again. Those films usually don't need 90 minutes. They shouldn't have 90 minutes, but you're just filling it out. And that's what kind of ruins it for us. When you look at the long films that are 2 hours and 30 minutes or something, you look at what Martin Scorsese's doing nowadays. He's like, oh, I'm going to make you sit in there until you piss your pants. Honestly. But it's...
Yeah.
Now
I know why he's doing it.
Yeah. Well, why do you think he's doing it?
Because the Marvel movies make you sit there for that long. So he thinks, why would you sit there for that long on this bullshit when you can sit here for that long watching my thing?
And
it's
like good movie, yeah.
Yeah, but unfortunately, a lot of the audience doesn't see it that way.
It depends, though, because I recently watched The Irishman again, and I like films like that where it takes you on a massive journey, where you can't remember the whole film. Like, you'll watch, like, a Kevin Hart film, right? I know it's not the same kettle of fish, but they're 90 minutes long. I can tell you from start to finish what's going to happen in the movie. I'm not going to watch it again. I possibly won't watch it again. Whereas The Irishman, you're going to watch again because you're going to forget key moments or key scenes, or even like Casino, it takes you through a massive long journey of all of these scenes you'll forget. And they're all important. So, but sometimes those films that are like 90 minutes long, I think the re-emergence of like a short film. In the past, where could you ever really watch short film?
I guess you'd have to go to a film festival, I guess, or YouTube.
Or even an independent cinema that's just got a bunch of...
Yeah, like an independent, yeah.
It's one of those that maybe it could be the time that we start seeing more short films come to the fore, you know? That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, it'd be cool. Moving on, we got Best Director, obviously, I think you mentioned before.
Yeah,
Christopher Nolan won, beating out Martin Scorsese, which is actually quite sad to say. It's a weird sentence I didn't think I'd say.
I mean, he's a quality director, man. There's no two ways about it, but it touches a personal note.
Right.
Don't
Best supporting actor, you got Robert Downey Jr. beating out Sterling K. Brown from American Fiction, Ryan Gosling in Barbie, yeah.
That went on.
Robert De Niro in Killers of the Flower Moon, and Mark Ruffalo in Poor Things. So
those are two
good on
names.
Robert Downey Jr. That is that's a true comeback
American
story
hero.
for him. There's America's ass.
like Kim
No,
K,
that was Captain America.
Great comeback story.
No, good on him, man. Like, it's quite cool to see him do that.
Although this is one thing I get kind of annoyed with the celebrity sort of world of. I think was it Jimmy Fallon hosting it? Jimmy Kimmel is who hosted it, and he took a snipe at Robert Downey Jr. for his past. You know, like, we know he was a drug addict and all of that. He took a snipe at him whilst he's accepting an award, and you're thinking, bro, why would you do that? Like, you're not Ricky Gervais. Just chill out, mate.
They say dumb shit, man. Like, they hate the fact that someone can... Like, you got to think, like, Robert Downey fucked up quite a lot, and to come back and do what he done is quite a big thing.
Yeah, it's impressive. It is really impressive.
I can imagine. It might even be some type of jealousy from him. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? I mean, you expect that stuff from, like, Ricky Gervais. He's a comedian, but not from... Yeah, I know people go, oh, but Jimmy Kimmel's a comedian. Yeah, but if you find him funny, you're kind of lame.
Best supporting actress was Davine Joy Randolph. I think I've seen her before, but I don't know her. Yeah, she's beat out people like Emily Blunt in Oppenheimer. I'll be honest with you, man. It doesn't seem like there was a great deal of competition this year.
I mean, Barbie is one of the front runners in most of the, categories for the.
I haven't seen it. I'm
not watching.
Understand.
I'm not watching.
I don't really have any interest in it. Emma Stone won Best Actress for Poor Things.
Yeah, she deserves an award. Right about now, you know.
Yeah, but then, like, are they just giving these awards out? Like, I don't know. Obviously, I haven't seen Poor Things either. I think most of the movies this year, as I said, I haven't seen. I saw a lot of ones on streaming platforms and that and stuff like that. But yeah, maybe her performance was great. Maybe who she's up against, I do not. Oh, Annette Bening, I know her.
Oh, I know her.
But Lily Gladstone, no idea. Sandra Hüller. No idea. Carey Mulligan, no idea. Best actor, obviously, Cillian Murphy. It was I believe that's Ireland's first Oscar winner, is it? For best actor?
National treasure.
National treasure.
National treasure. Yeah, no.
But yeah, he beat out people like Paul Giamatti, Bradley Cooper, Jeffrey Wright. Coleman Domingo. I don't know who that is, but
I mean, it could have been a better list. I'm no disrespect to those actors; they're very good actors, and we've seen them for many years. But like, it could have been one of those years that you're up against. You know, imagine you release the same year as Martin Scorsese, Quentin Tarantino, and Christopher Nolan. Right? You all release in the same year with star-studded crews. That best actor could have been it might not have been a walk in the park for Cillian Murphy. I'm not saying it is, but it could have been a lot worse. But if you know Cillian Murphy's work, because a lot of people started going, oh, Cillian Murphy's cool, he's pretty cool since Peaky Blinders, right? That's where he gets a lot of his attention from in mainstream acting, right? I know it's a TV show, but if you saw him day one from the films like The Wind That Shakes the Barley, it's a classic Irish film. It's a good film, but it's not a great film, if that makes sense. It goes under the radar a lot, but when you watch it and you're watching Cillian Murphy act in it, you're going, that's Ireland's Leo DiCaprio, essentially, because you look at him and you go, Jesus, he's just a cut above.
Yeah, I think the first thing I saw him in must have been like Batman Begins, and then it was like Red Eye.
Yeah,
they were about the same time.
Small roles, and then Red Eye.
2005.
Yeah.
Well, Batman, he was Scarecrow.
Yeah,
to get a villain like that is back then as well.
Oh, it's a big deal, but what I mean is it's a smaller role in comparison to like being Batman himself, you know, or. You know.
Oh yeah, well, he did audition for Batman, as you can see in one of our shorts.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug coming right at you, right at your stereo. Yeah, no. I don't know. I think he deserves it. I do think he deserves it. It's been a long time coming for Cillian Murphy, to be honest. But
yeah.
Other than that, I mean, it was kind of a lackluster year, and I imagine 2025 with all of the strikes going on in Hollywood and whatnot, and the delays for films, and you know the scheduling and stuff. I don't know what 2025 is going to look like, but we as movie fans have kind of seen the release schedules. And I imagine, I just predict, and I'm not saying that it should, but I predict that the Joker 2, you know, with Lady Gaga in it, is probably going to do well at the Oscars. But that's not because the film's going to be great. Yeah, it's not going to be in our hearts.
Not in this guy's heart anyway. I could really tell.
Yeah, you already have your theories, but that's my point, is that might just be the best film that comes out for 2020 or 2024, but for 2025's awards. But it doesn't necessarily mean it is the best film that could have come out. Right, did you see what happened with John Cena?
I saw like an image of him like holding like some plaque over his penis, and he was just naked. That was it. I don't really get why. I don't know why I woke up to that image, but cool.
I think that's why, in all honesty.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. I mean, I get it. Like sometimes it's funny in that, but
no, I didn't think it's funny. I think it was a sad attempt to try and grab viewers,
make people laugh. Yeah.
Yeah, to grab viewers.
Yeah.
Oh, did you know the Oscars went on?
Yeah. What I did enjoy was seeing Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito doing their little segment. If you saw that or not.
No, I didn't see that part, but it just reminds me of a story that was it Charlie from Always Sunny in Philadelphia tells about Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger. You heard that story?
Yeah, I actually spoke about that in another short.
Shameless plug part 2. Don't worry about June. Shameless plug part 2.
Yeah, they just started speaking on stage about how they were both Batman villains, and then Michael Keaton was there like in front row, and they were talking to him. It was quite a little funny segment.
That had to be one of my favourite Batmans growing up. I can't lie. I don't know what, like, just as a kid.
Michael Keaton is my Batman.
Yeah, no, I get it.
But that's a whole other podcast, man.
Yeah, well, yeah, we'll get you that podcast. Don't worry. Well, I'll argue for Christian Bale.
No,
the silence. I'm joking. I can't really.
We're gonna wrap it up here.
Thank you for listening, guys. If you like the content, please subscribe to the channel, and we will see you next time.